Is up? It's your boy Johnny Shreve. I have BB Problems and Tell Like It Is. Welcome back to another episode of Coaching Up. Today, guys, you got a highly recommended, highly requested coach out there, Ryan Humiston. I've heard a lot about him. I've watched some videos. I begin the question of, let me know if Ryan Humiston's stuff is good or whatever. It's definitely good. I think you guys got some really good information. So I wanted to go over this. I'm gonna dive into one of his videos, and I kind of want to break down a couple things he says. I really appreciate you guys out there requesting guys for me to look up, see if their shit's good or not. And you know what? That means a lot. That means you guys trust me and my word on what I believe or deem is good information. Anyway, let's dive into this video. 3 barbell squats you should be doing. So I'm watching this. Let's go.
All right, today we're going in depth on 3 of the most common barbell squat variations and the techniques you can use to get even more growth out of them. Also, how to warm up and prime those legs properly. That'll increase your flexibility, make you feel more confident, but also put a little size on because it sucks. Let's get after it.
Nice, cool. So yeah, another good video. One of my editors is like, man, what if you run out of things to talk about? Or, how many times can you say the same thing? It's like, you can never go wrong by continuously talking about technique over and over and over again. It's not about the fact that form is like your gateway to optimal gains. It will 100% help you building muscle and having a lot more control and isolation around the muscles that you're targeting when you have good form. You're not wasting time or movements on other muscles that have anything to do with the muscle that you're isolating that day. That's what I believe good form is. On top of that is preventing injury. Maybe today you will not get injured with a round back or alignment in your shoulders.
Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow.
But I can promise you, if your form is off, you will eventually get injured. And when you get injured at that point, it's too late. I'm telling you guys with this because I have experience. I have experience because I'm educated. I have experience from actually doing the wrong things and getting injured. So I'm trying to tell you guys, for you dummies out there like, you got hurt because you're on steroids. I got mostly all my injuries playing football and training dumb for football when I wasn't on any gear. So stop saying that and make that excuse. It's like, oh, when you take steroids, all of a sudden you're gonna lift something and get hurt. No, rules apply to those who are natty and those who are not. Form prevents you from being injured, okay? Having said that, let's dive into the first part. All right.
So traditionally, when you see people warm themselves up for squats, they're in a constant balancing act between making sure their flexibility is on point, the range of motion is there, they feel comfortable, confident in the movement, but also not overexerting themselves because strength is the name of the game for them. So they have to be very precise.
Exactly. I'm always saying, remember, your warm-up sets are those sets just to prime the muscle. Get yourself ready and prepared physically and mentally to do the hard shit. That's the whole point of warming up. My advice would be increase your weight slightly with every set of your warm-ups to slightly get to that point where you feel you're ready to work. So you're not wasting time doing 4 to 5 warm-up sets. So let's keep moving on.
So we can steal from physical therapists and take an exercise that's often used in a clinical setting for people with various knee issues and use it to not only ease into squatting with some serious depth, but also use it for exactly what it is, an exercise, and kick our own ass with it.
I'm gonna agree with him with this, guys. A lot of my knowledge, not just from me studying in my certification and everything else, but from me really listening to my physiotherapist when I was recovering from the injuries that I had. I tore my ACL, AC joint, I have IT band syndrome, I got osteophytes and arthritis, I have sciatica. So in order for me to prevent getting to that point again, I had to really use a lot of what the physiotherapist would recommend. And I would add that into my actual workouts. Things like stretching under a load. People who have a lot of muscle, like someone like myself, when it comes to stretching and whatnot, sometimes doing static stretches won't work out. You have to do something where we're actually moving or putting a load on us to get us deeper in that stretch with those people who have stronger, bigger, thicker muscles. So doing exercises from the physiotherapist is a good idea.
And the actual name of this exercise escapes me, but I know it was something Spanish, and the last thing I want to do is be insensitive, so let's just play it safe and call it the Dirty Sanchez. And there's 2 separate variations I want you to try because they both have their own unique benefits. The first one is you wrap that band around and put 1 foot into each loop. The nice part about this one is it feels a little bit more equal as far as the tension is concerned.
So this is a very, very different thing you guys probably haven't seen before. This is a really, really good exercise for you guys to do to warming up the muscle before you squat or do any kind of movement, because the physio exercise, the physio movement to help with stabilization, stretching, engaging your quads, engaging your glute med, your entire glute basically, and just to fire your muscles off and getting your body well prepared to actually have a lot more hip flexion and knee flexion. So it's a really good exercise to do. And I'm watching him how he does it. And what I like about this is demonstrating the exercise and demonstrating it properly, right? That's the biggest thing. You guys need a visual. And that's why I see a lot of times. You look at guys in the gym who are bigger or in shape. You guys are watching to see if they're doing something that you can learn. So when it comes to us coaches, we know that you're watching us and you want to learn and see if you're doing right by watching us do the actual exercise. So I do like the fact, watch Ryan Humiston get in this and actually watch him do the exercise and doing it right.
As an issue, as you squat, you feel like those knees are starting to cave in on you. This is a great warm-up for you, but anybody who doesn't have that issue, it's just a nice reminder of how you're supposed to be squatting.
Yes, and it's awesome. I love how he puts that point in there. That movement is really good to do because it does make you push your knees out. Now again, that cue is basically the same, externally rotating with the hips. That is aligning your knees with your toes. You have a good alignment when you're squatting. You have a good knee flexion, a good hip flexion. We have that perfect alignment without our toes caving in and out. And now strengthen your glutes. So the reason why most people's knees cave in and out because their glute meads are not that strong. So this is a very good exercise to do before you actually do the actual movement. If you want to make this hard, get a kettlebell with this sissy squat. This is basically essentially a sissy squat. It's a dope sissy squat that I'm gonna do and add in the next exercise. So let's keep moving on.
And then as you come up, don't just stand straight up. Actually drive those knees back and then flex those quads as hard as you can. And you should immediately get an aha moment.
So that's a very good cue that we're not just standing up. We need to be causing that tension from the band, firing off your quads a lot more. Remember that knee flexion on the way down and the extension on the way up. So it's very important that cue he gave you doing this exercise. Awesome, dope.
All right, let's start with everybody's favorite, the high bar squat. And the question comes up, is there a certain type of shoe I should wear? Should I go barefoot? And really it's just a matter of what kind of squat you're doing and how bad your fucking feet stink. Because for me, I like to do traditional squats where my feet are flat on the ground in nothing but socks. Because those toes gripping the floor act as a kinesthetic trigger to remind me to drive those knees out.
Yes, man, yes. I can always support a coach who's gonna emphasize using your damn toes. Your toes are there for support, for grip, for balance. Stop giving these cues just push through your heels. There's a lot more to your squat than just your heels. But I love that. I can 100% get behind any coach that's gonna promote that sweetness. Now, when it comes to high bar and low bar, a lot of people have this definition of a high bar, low bar. High bar used to be for me, someone who has a bar literally on the top of their traps, like up of their neck. That to me is a high bar. Low bar to me would be like down by our traps and our traps right by our delts, like right there. High bar to me is this. Low bar to me is this, right? So I have my bar here. This is my low bar, right?
But if you're gonna do a variation like I'm about to show, where your heels are on a plate, then you're gonna wanna wear some shoes. And I've talked about elevating those heels as a way to instantly improve your range of motion while you simultaneously work on your ankle flexibility. That way you're not wasting any time and you're not limited with your ability to squat. But
Exactly.
This is a little different.
So a really good idea, obviously, is going to show here is raising the heels a little bit, doing the high bar, which I would say low bar, whatever, is going to give you a lot more range of motion for those who have not that much range of motion in your ankles. Now,
to the extreme, because we're gonna put those feet all the way together. We're gonna drive those knees together. We're gonna do 15 reps with those feet nice and close. Then we're gonna open up those toes, bring in that vastus medialis a little bit. So we start out by hitting that vastus lateralis.
excellent workout. So this is something I've done before. I didn't do it sometimes a little bit higher too, with my heels a little bit higher. Now, I've actually taken some of these exercises from Tom Platz. If you guys will look back at a bodybuilder who had just awesome freaking quads, Tom Platz, I'm actually gonna do a coaching up on him because he's got some awesome stuff. Some things I do agree with, some things I'm like, but he was definitely at that time ahead of his time when it came to just, training and supplementation. But again, this is an amazing exercise to do. Now, in this too, I wanna add that the fact that some of you guys who are bigger like myself, who have more muscles, putting your legs closer together, doing that squat, not only are you gonna really emphasize your quads, but the fact that you're adducting so much, you're gonna actually work those adductors by actually keeping your legs close together. Now, me squeezing my legs like this, I can feel that already firing off. Now, when he goes open your toes up a little more, we're switching the emphasis from the inside to the out. So really good exercise to do.
Just tear the entire quad up for 30 reps total, but 15 and 15 each.
So him saying, do 15 and 15 each. When it comes to reps, I feel like sometimes when we talk about reps, we overemphasize the rep, and the rep being the characteristic of the entire set. The reps will change depending on how much weight you're using, how close is that weight to your 1 rep max, and what kind of exercise you're doing. So reps, we have to really get ourselves over how many reps are you doing. If you're doing 30 reps in 30 seconds, that's a really, really, really fast rep. If you're doing 30 reps in a minute, that's a long time repping. So 15, 30, 20, 10, those reps can be completely different based on how much time you're spending doing those reps. But this is an awesome exercise for you guys who are trying to build some legs. If you're trying to build something like that elder sweep, that other quad sweep, the vastus lateralis, for you science-based people. You're really trying to build that one there. These are really good exercises to do. For me, I love doing them with a kettlebell, and I also like doing them on the Smith machine because I can load up the weight a little bit more, and I can just really ride that motion from down and up, not worrying about, stabilizing too much and really just focus on my legs. But good exercise. Let's keep moving on.
So you're gonna set it up exactly like a low bar squat, but instead of going straight up and down, you're gonna hinge at the hips like a good morning, and as you drive up, you open those knees out even more.
So that exercise, on me, it's not on the top list for movements to do. So listen, guys, all the stuff these say right now is absolutely solid. This exercise, I'm not saying it's not solid. I'm saying I would just do something else that would be more optimal. It's just, you're taking something basic and making something more out of it that you don't need to. I feel like it's something that we can already do by doing sumos or stiff leg deadlifts or wide leg stiff leg deadlifts without loading our back and doing almost a good morning. And I'm not a fan of that really low bar because some of you guys out there doing a low bar aren't really educated enough to do it and they have hurt themselves. So this, I'm not a fan of. I'm not saying that it's not optimal in a sense, but those who are more advanced, try it out. But those who are not advanced, like those of you are beginners, don't even come close to that exercise. Like learn how to do a squat first, like literally. Like before you see this and be like, oh, this is really cool, I'll start Ryan Humiston do it. Don't. You're not level enough to do this. Just perfect your squat first before doing this. So, and I realized that it was like, whoop, do this exercise. And like, you just probably threw that in just to add some kind of sexiness in there or something. I don't know. But I feel like he just, he blew over that one real quick. Anyway, let's go to the next one.
And last, but certainly not least, the front squat. Now the tip on these is to actually do them because we all avoid them. Nobody wants to get choked out and walk away looking like a battered husband, but they're a phenomenal exercise, especially for somebody who does them in the traditional way where your feet are fairly close together. If you widen those feet out and set up like a sumo squat, you might find you actually love this exercise.
So again, now another exercise that I think is a really good one if you have good mobility. Now, front squat, I agree, but I disagree. Yes, it's a good exercise to do, but for those people who actually have mobility, not many people do have mobility doing that actual exercise. Now, if you don't have the mobility to do that, there's actually a way you can kind of jimmy rig your bar up to actually get that front walk position. Now, what you can actually do is
a few minutes later.
Now, when it comes to front rack position, I'm not a big fan of front rack because not a lot of people are flexible enough in their shoulders to do this and their wrists. Somebody like myself has a lot of biceps, a lot of shoulders. Mobility is kind of jacked for doing this. Now, for a good front rack position, you want your elbows to be completely up because we're not holding the weight with our hands and our wrists. We're holding the weight, we're literally with our elbows being here. Now, if you can't get in this position, what you can do is now pretend these are straps. I don't have straps with me, but we all know what a strap looks like. Your old school strap is basically, you got a loop and you got the material. These are just, booty bands. Yes, I got booty bands, but not for that reason. Anyway, so what you want to do is basically, you wrap your strap in like so forth, like this. Some of you guys might have seen this before, but if you haven't, some of you guys can use if you do want to start doing a front rack position. Now, your straps are basically like this, and we can grab from like this, and we can just basically go in that front rack position, pushing elbows up, and now we can be in that position and hold the bar up here like this and make sure we're kind of relaxing our shoulders and driving that elbow up. Now, we don't want to do this because this is going to round our back. Then when we start squatting, it's going to start rolling onto our delts and then we're basically holding the bar up, which I hate the most. Anyway, all in all, man, I think those are some really good exercises in there to do. Those are some really good things you can use. The first squat variation, sissy squat with the bands, absolutely amazing. Ryan, I'm actually going to use that and the next leg day I do. I think it's a phenomenal exercise. I can't believe I forgot that. It's a legitimate dope movement. Anyway, other than that, guys, great tips, great cues in there. I've only seen a few videos of him before, but he only puts really short videos. But I think he's got a lot of good information out there. Good shit, dude. I'm gonna keep looking at some stuff. If I find something else out there that's in your material that can be coached up with some more, obviously, guy doesn't need that much coaching, but you can always find some things that we could do just like today. And then, guys, hope you like and learned something from the video, guys. If you did, make sure you guys like, subscribe, and share. I'm gonna come with that title like it is, vulnerable, transparent truth. For coaching, johnasheed.com. If you wanna know about coaching, guys, you can book a phone consult, 15 to 30 minutes. If you decide you wanna go to coaching, whether it's a one-time plan or an ongoing coaching, I deduct the phone consult off any plans you pick. Remember, guys, prices are going up this weekend. Not by much, but just enough. Either way, take advantage of it right now because I'll grandfather your price for as long as you keep me as your coach. Anyway, guys, make sure you use my code Johnny15 for the Power 13 book, 15% off. Get those dope recipes in there, especially my grilled cheese omelet breakfast sandwich. Dopest thing ever. Delicious. Gonna have one later on today, actually. Guys, add me to Instagram at _JohnnyG_. Tag me, whatever you guys tag me in, guys. I will repost your workouts and stuff. And guess what, guys? I will be just picking random comments. And I'll just give you guys a call and say, hey, what's up? And, I'm gonna pick random people. There's no rhyme or reason. I just thought I would just do that. I think it's cool to do it and just, help people out. Why not? Anyway, guys, make sure you guys check out my gym, Impact Fitness 56. Yeah, guys, we're shut down for 4 weeks and probably more, but just send over some love and encouragement. Hopefully we'll be back on our feet soon enough. But if you're stuck at home, guys, get out there, do what you can, get some exercise, move around. Don't just sit in the house, get some sun. Anyway, guys, you know how it is. Iron sharpens iron. Progressive overload your life. In the meantime, keep dream chasing. Peace.